Okay, so you put out, and depending on what status you have, what you've accomplished out in the world, whether you've worked well, whether you get paid well for what you're doing, all of this stuff, it goes down to the seventh, eighth, the ninth, the eighth, the seventh house, to the ascendant. So this is involved with relating to people who see your job, people who are aligning with you, who are recognizing what you're doing and aligning with you around your career and status. Okay, and usually it's the wife, the partners, and people you're involved making decisions with. But as it hits the descendant, you're during that whole phase, you're interacting with people, exchanging, making business, improving things. But as soon as you're reacting to status, but when something is on the descendant, when you have aspects to the descendant, it's going to affect how you respond to people, how other people respond to you. It's the descendant, or the ascendant is you're projecting your inside out on the world. And the descendant is the outside is projecting its take on you into your personal world. So other people's comments, whether they like you or not, whether they think you're stupid, whether they're shunning you, whatever, any feedback you get, that's good, Johnny, that's terrible. Like, that's the descendant. Boy, I never, like in school, I never got a good feedback. Like, I got good feedback from certain teachers, but school in general was always a put down, and you can't do this, you're not doing this the normal way, you're not doing this way. And there was violence, and if you did something wrong, there was extra violence. I always, when you get bad energy put in, it's hard to be good. It's hard to come back to a bad teacher who's hurt you and sit in the class and be good or think good things. It's hard to do that with home. Your dad knocks you around, your parents are fighting. It's hard to not take it personally. So the descendant is where you get other people say opinions of what you've accomplished, what you haven't accomplished, what you succeeded at out there, what you didn't. So we're always going every day, the adventure out into the world to do things, to accomplish something, don't we? If we failed, then we have a failure to take in. If we succeed, we have a success, and we get the feedback accordingly from others. And as we get this feedback, that was good, that was bad, that was terrible, how could you have done that? All this, it goes personally. The minute somebody is making a comment, it affects you personally. It's going to go down and affect your feelings. It's going to cause critical adjustments, affect your performance, affect your sense of security, until it goes down into your motivation. And in that night's sleep, you're really affected by that person. And then you wake up in the morning and you have to deal with it or not deal with it or whatever. It's affected your motivation. So the descendant is how you get feedback, and feedback from others, and what kind of feedback you get, how something out in the world, how do you reach somebody? Okay, big problem with autistic kids who don't have their sense of boundaries, and they can be very smart, but they can hurt someone in a second without realizing that's hurting someone. All kinds of autism, but just the right feedback and wrong feedback, boy, makes a huge difference. And any planet can have its good and bad side of the type of feedback you're going to get, and you will get a spectrum of it. So you have the sign, you have the attitude of how people are going to respond to you and what kind of response you expect to get. So in this chart with Carl Jung, he has the Leo in the 7th house. His sun's there too, but his Leo's there, and he expects to be applauded. He expects people to love him or know him to give him really good feedback and proud feedback because he saved their life or made them better. Like we would get feedback that way. If someone didn't like him or didn't like what he was doing, it would deeply affect him. It would go down deeply. But his son is there. He's worked very hard to get that type. He could talk to people and get the good feedback from them, or the approvals. So if the moon's there, family, in-laws, family, mother, partner's family, other personal things, memories come up and they affect you. Someone reminds you, remember when you did that thing wrong? Remember when that happened? And you're taking it personally and you're trying to hide away. You're embarrassed because it's not the feedback you wanted to get. It's not what you wanted other people to talk about. So your lack of status or lack of achievement will create more and more disassociation or negative thoughts, and it becomes, if you're trying to be ambitious, it really affects this descendant. You take it in, it didn't work, nobody likes me, or they don't like me, or I'm not wanted. Whereas if you do a job and you do it well, and you get the feedback, that was good. Who did that? They did that. Oh, that's great. Then the feedback, can we call you, get you to do this? You get the feedback word of mouth and other people asking you to do things. If you're with a partner and trying to hold a family together, That descendant is whether you're getting good feedback or not from the partner. Wow, you start getting bad feedback from the partner, it's going to have a deep, profound effect on you. So the old samurai warriors, if they wouldn't home with their wives, they would be super nice, super cautious. They go out of their way to not make anything bad, to try and be super nice to them, because if the wife gets mad and gives them bad feedback, they're going to feel insecure themselves. And the next day when they go out to fight, they could get killed by that doubt. At the same time, you got a kid that you're encouraging to study. Wow. But you're seeing the types of feedback you get. And if the moon's there, the person's going to need feelings. And if they're going to respond really extremely to negative moods, negative feelings, bad food, bad habits, that would be if the moon's conjunct square opposed the ascendant, the descendant. If it's Mercury, it's, I said something, are you listening? Do you hear me? What do you say? Like getting someone to, I ask a question, someone responds, I say something, someone has an opinion of it. It makes good mental feedback, and you're stimulated by the feedback. I'm thinking, they're thinking, we like each other, we're both intelligent, this is working. But if you say, hey there, how's it going? Says, what's it to you? Who do you think you are? You start getting negative thoughts or worries or negative things coming back. It's going to really go in and affect you. If you're around people that are just not listening or thinking differently or thinking wrongly or putting it down or worrying, you're going to take it personally, and it's going to affect you, especially if it's your partner. So you have a nice relationship, but if a partner's not coping at work or with their status, they're going to hide from things that you don't want to hide from, and they're going to start having these negative effects coming in, and you're getting this, you're not getting a good response. So what we project out is to try and project our personal intuitions out to see who we're affecting by thinking. In the setting side, we're having all our sensations of interactions with people, and we want to think that those interactions have some personal feeling, that I can feel good about them, not bad about them. So affirmations are really huge here. Being able to like someone, the feeling is going to be tied to the moon. It needs to be, that's the feeling quadrant. It goes down to the IC. But if it's Mercury, you need to be thinking, you need to be sharing ideas, you need to be computing. If someone stops talking to you or starts putting it down or thinking wrongly, boy, it's going to have a deep effect on you, or not accepting what you're thinking. Or someone just says, you're talking too much, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, it's going to block that. Getting feedback about ideas, that's a stupid idea. That's a good idea. Like these type of infants, as the Mercury would be affected, and we pulled into circumstances that affect this nerve. So I can't define it. I just tune into it. And you know, when you see someone has it, ask some questions. Look, you'll observe and you'll see how it manifests. Way better than you could ever define. This means exactly this or that. When it's Venus, you want to be loved. You want to get liked. You want people to give you rewards, sweetness, bring a present, bring flowers, bring nice hugs, smile. You want to receive the positive feedback from others emotionally. And if you're getting the love, that's wonderful. It's not love, it's hate, it's other things. It's disgust, it's repulsion. Oh boy, vanity, it's going to bother you. If other people think you're vain or repulsive or what, that's going to really bother you. You're going to take this in. So how we project ourselves, I'm so beautiful. We get feedback, oh, I'm not. It humbles us, it balances us out. So it goes down deep and we end up not projecting that factor. We might have to project other things. But if it's there, it's focusing. If you have a planet aspecting an angle, like you're going to have to fix that planet and make sure it's working well before it really fixes, before it stops being a problem for the angle, for the sensitive point. It's not the sensitive point affecting the planet. It's the planet dumping its stuff on that angle. And we have a predisposition. So if you have the predisposition to Mercury on stressing your descendant and ascendant, that when you can see timings when it would be triggered out, but that's you're vulnerable to that. That's going to be your response trigger. So with Venus, it's liking or wanting what you like, what choices you made. I bought this as, oh, you bought that as, that's on the wrong side of town or whatever. Like just people's opinions can go in and cut deeply. Do you like me? No. I bought this nice suit. Oh, that's a horrible suit. Or just, you know, you smile, someone frowns. Or being put down is bad feedback. Being reinforced or applauded is good feedback. And every day, do we get more good feedback than bad, or do we tolerate whatever comes back? Do we put out more than we get back? Is it balanced? What are we accomplishing on the midheaven? How are we feeling about that? How are we feeling about our failures? How do we deal with people not giving us good feedback? What you're supposed to do, you get bad feedback, you're supposed to take the loss, understand it, and improve sixth house. Improve, make an adjustment and improve that factor so you can perform better the next time. And if you figure out how to do that, you'll feel a lot more secure against the criticism, and it won't affect your sleep as much or your motivation as much. It'll affect it in a more positive way.